Good evening, people. A very warm welcome to the Brews at 10 here on my left eye. I'm your host, Lefty. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. How are you doing? So yeah, this is the Brews at 10, a look at politics and society from a socialist perspective. And a bit to catch up on tonight. Let's see what's happening in the chat. And I've just sort of shuffled things about. With the chat window and stuff like that. Hope you find this all agreeable, people. Okay, so I'm going to squeeze this over here and you guys are going to pop in there. That should just about do it. There we go. As if by magic. So a bit of a new setup. So we've got Davinia, Mobius, Octo, Super Tiny, great to see you in the chat. Great to see the truth as well. Well, we like to see the truth as well as speak it here on my left eye, of course. Andy Carter, great to see you back. Thanks for throwing up the Palestine flags, people. A few sneaky 30p Lees in there as well from Davinia. I was watching a thing about him earlier, actually. I don't know if any of you follow a channel called Political Custard, but he was named Twat of the Year on their channel, and quite deservedly so, if I do say so myself. Yeah, thanks again for the static emojis and stuff, guys. Please do hit thumbs up on the stream and all that jazz. Give it a share around your Twitter, your Blue Skies, whatever. Give us a follow there as well. And we are on Mastodon. So yeah, new setup with the graphics. Also, very pleased to say, I'm going to be revealing another new feature on tonight's live stream. So you'll be witness. You'll be present at the unveiling of a new feature. No spoilers about that yet. Great to see you're all doing well. Alwyn Hornsey, very good evening to you too. Solidari-Tea, everyone. For anyone who's not too familiar with the Brews at 10 live streams, we do try and throw a few tea-based puns in there at any opportunity. I can certainly see a few culprits in the chat. Great stuff. Yes, Andy, I've got a swanky new chat box. Got some other swanky new graphics. I said there was going to be some new stuff coming in 2025, as promised. Not like a Starmer pledge or a mission or a plan or a first step. Did I say pledge? No, it's like the opposite of that. Yes, Davinia, I don't often get the chance to do a Tuesday stream. I do them where I can. Wanted to catch up with you guys as well as unveil the new feature today, so been busy, but I've just about managed to squeeze in a live stream. And Flow Snake's in the house as well. Thanks for throwing up the watermelons and taking the opportunity. Great to see you again. Thanks a lot, everyone, from yesterday's live stream as well, for coming along to Kevin Logan's stream as we raided in. I know it was a slightly unorthodox one. He did say himself, as No Justice had raided in. as well that, yeah, for all the people following the serious political debate, and then we go into watching a stream of people playing Fortnite. However, the twist was that it was Elon Musk who was apparently playing, and these two players over the internet were talking to one another as they were gaming. And it's definitely Elon Musk. I can't remember the... He has a pseudonym when he's playing on the game. It was Adrian something, I forget. But yeah, definitely him. And even when it was put to him that he was Elon Musk, who couldn't even name 3 women's names, I think was one of the the highlights of the stream when he was challenged. But yeah, thanks for that. We'll possibly be redirecting at the end of the stream. We'll see who might be about, but there's plenty to get through between now and then. Please do stick it out for as long as you can. And I do want to take the chance to give a customary thank you to all of the members on the channel. Excuse me, I'll just pop the chat out for a moment as I do that. Thank you very much, every single one of you. It's great to have your continued support as always. There's some new members been added recently. Great to have you on board. Thanks to everybody who's gifted memberships recently as well. And that's just 99 pence, you know. That's way cheaper than the price of a hot tasty beverage, such as the one I'm about to imbibe. So yeah, you can join our community, the Brew Crew, for just 99 pence, as I said, and do check out the perks. There's some exclusive content out there, early viewings on streams, static emojis on streams, that kind of thing. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, good people of the Brew Crew. The tea revolution could be coming to a town or city near you very soon. Well, I'm hoping so. We may not have gotten that far quite yet, but we can certainly sit here and put the world to rights. So what we got tonight? Let's see, obviously Jean-Marie Le Pen, the now former notorious far-right fascist of France, has bought the farm, he's kicked the bucket, he's pushing up the daisies, and he's gone to meet the choir invisible. He's bleeding demised. If I could paraphrase some Monty Python spliced in there. But yeah, good riddance as far as he's concerned. We'll be taking a look at some of the reasons why those people in France were celebrating, as you saw at the top of the stream. Should we take a quick look at that again? Why the devil not? So these were the scenes in France as the news broke. Similar to when Thatcher kicked the bucket here in the not too distant past. So I've just sort of spliced a few together. Found with the old interwebs. Scenes of jubilation, quite well attended as well, as you can see. Some thousands throughout cities. I'm not sure of the exact location. It's probably Paris. I'm just looking for any landmarks. Choke super tiny. Le Pen is dead. Long live the keyboard. Choice of Jailed+more there. He is dead. Don't adjust your sets. Don't adjust your monitors. That's sorry, it's only a low resolution recording that last clip there. Only until a touchscreen takes over. Right, so let's take a look at the old fascist bastard. Let's what the bloody hell's going on here? Right, sorry, just sort this out. Sorry, did the mic cut out? Apologies about that. I don't know where I got up to before the mic cut out. I was trying to keep up with the chat there while I was reading the article out. Let me know if it's coming through now. I don't know what happened there. Bizarre. Okay, well, I'm not going to read... Oh, God, I'm not going to read back through the article. Anyway, apologies about the mic. 10 minutes? Oh, God. Well, I'll summarise. He's a far-right twat and good riddance. There you go, that's my summary. And his daughter's no better either. Yeah, I don't know why that happened. Sorry about that. Let's move on. Yeah, that's a summary. He did shit and then he did a bit better and then he came second once and then he fell out with his daughter and then he became unpopular and then she became slightly popular and then she ended up coming third, and France and Canada are now a complete political sort of mess at the moment. That was the basic premise of it all. Also, he could only get a seat on the European Parliament, so he tried to do the same tactic as Nigel Farage, which was another point I was making when he failed so many times to get into the House of Commons, although he's a member now for the 8th time of trying. But he wasn't even very welcome there. Neither was Le Pen. Right, okay. No, you don't want France to turn into Le Pen Island. Point Clive. Yeah, Mobius, she banned him for being too honest about his fascism. She's like, shh, Dad! They're not supposed to know we're the fash. We're trying to be the, you know, the people's candidate. Okay, right, let's make amends for that technical fault there. So, as I said, I do have a new feature to unveil on the show. So this will probably be a regular feature on live streams, maybe a couple of videos as well. And I was saying in recent streams that I'm not going to be short of content where Donald Trump and Elon Musk are concerned, with the former there set to take office within days and Musk continually trying to poke his nose into UK politics, shall we say. So, to facilitate the oncoming onslaught, the oncoming shit show, I've created a feature based around that. So this is the grand unveiling. Here we go. Okay, are we ready, people? Now, I did want to call it... I did want to call it dumb shit that Trump and Musk have said this week as a regular feature, but I couldn't fit it on the sort of postery meme thing. So I've gone for Trump and Musk's batshit crazy corner, which is going to be the regular feature on the show. We're going to be going over the latest clips and stuff, tweets and whatever it is that they've said. Like I mentioned, we're not going to be, there's going to be an abundance of them. We're not going to be short of content as far as that's concerned. So I do have a title screen video as well. Please do enjoy. This is the premiere of Trump and Musk's batshit crazy corner.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
Right. Try that one, really? Okay. Sure. Oh, man. It didn't go through.
We will build a great wall along the southern border.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean? Is something compared to blackmailing with advertising? Blackmailing with money? Go f*** yourself.
That is one big pile of shit.
Welcome, one and all, to Trump and Musk's batshit crazy corner. Right, what have we got today then? Let's just get the background music back in. Guys, music. The last few days it's all been about Musk, as I said, trying to muscle his way into UK politics, talking. I won't go over the ins and outs of that. If you're not familiar, please do check out the last few live streams and videos on the channel. Today, Trump made an announcement. I think the whole speech lasted about an hour, including taking questions. And the subject of Canada came up, as we've mentioned recently. He has, and this is no joke, he's got his eyes on making Canada the 51st state, as he describes it. He wants to acquire, purchase Canada. And it was put to him how he might go about it. Would he use military force, for example? Also, the subject of the Panama Canal came up as well. There's a couple of other things, so we're going to be... Oh, God, he's not even in office yet, and it's all this. Like I said, not going to be short of content where Trump's concerned. Right, we'll start with Canada. And then the Panama Canal and Greenland as well. As has come up, he's got his eyes set on... I can't believe I'm sitting here and these words are coming out of my mouth. You know, if you'd have told me this, what, a decade ago, I might have laughed. So yeah. This is what's happening in 2025. And he's been very open about it here. This isn't some sort of crazy, drunk midnight tweet, which he did have a reputation for the last time he was in office. So let's see what's happening, people. What do you think of the... what do you think of the title vid? Let me know in the chat, people. I might have a play about with it. Anyway. So this is the first clip. Jesus Christ, this guy.
If we were to work under the assumption that you're serious about making Canada 51st state of the United States, the leader of the Conservative Party in Canada said, under no circumstances will it ever be the 51st state.
Maybe he won't win, but maybe he will. I don't care.
You had suggested...
Listen, I don't care what he says.
But Sir Lopez, you said you were considering...
Maybe he won't, maybe he will. Let's just go back. He said explicitly, basically, you know, they're not going to have that. And then Trump, well, maybe they will. It's like, no, he's definitely said that they won't. Well, maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know. You don't know. It's like, well, yeah, we do know, because we asked him, and he said definitely not. You crazy orange bastard.
Under the assumption that you're serious about making Canada 51st state of the United States, the leader of the Conservative Party in Canada said, under no circumstances will it ever be the 51st state.
Maybe he won't win, but maybe he will. I don't care.
You had suggested...
Listen, I don't care what he says.
But Sir Lopez, you said you were considering military force to acquire Panama.
Is that loud enough? I'm just going to put a touch again on there, people, bear with. That's as loud as I can get it on the EQ. I can just work a bit of magic. That should do it.
In Greenland, are you also considering military force to annex and acquire Canada?
No, economic force, because Canada and the United States, that would really be something. You get rid of that artificially drawn line, and you take a look at what that looks like, and it would also be much better for national security.
Sort of saying economic force vis-a-vis what trade embargoes, this kind of thing. His favourite word, tariffs, that sort of thing. He's going to try and economically starve Canada into submission, at the same time as trying to say that this would be some sort of friendly agreement between the two countries, but one that he's willing to force them into, albeit not by military force, but by economic force. Slightly contradictory, don't you think?
You don't forget, we basically protect Canada. But here's the problem with Canada.
They've got their own... Yeah, it's nowhere near the size of the US Army, but they do have their own army. We know they used to be our allies as well, so... I can't remember the last time that Canada, you know, started a war and said, please help us, United States. I can name you plenty that the United States have started, including ones that we're still seeing the repercussions of right now and are still going on right now. albeit directly or by proxy.
Canada. So many friends up there. I love the Canadian people.
You love them so much that you want, essentially, they wouldn't be Canadian anymore if you got your way. And what's going on with, I know has he got a new weave with the hair? What's going on there? And the face, it's gone beyond orange now. We're in brown territory. Crazy.
Great. But we're spending hundreds of billions a year to protect.
So, his idea of diplomatic relations is threaten to withdraw any economic or military support, annex the land, which is a very large amount of territory there. You're talking about Canada, that's huge, and Greenland. And as we'll see later when he mentions Greenland, it's, well, according to him anyway, a military strategy against Russia, who they're obviously fighting a proxy war with in Ukraine, but we'll come on to that in a bit. But yeah, it doesn't wear a toupee. The lobotomy definitely worked. Yeah, you're right there, Olwyn. The Orange Atam. Nice one, Clive. Yeah, he's taken over. And it's pretty much, yeah, Davinia, do as I say or else. That's, he said he was going to be a dictator from day one. And it doesn't look like he's holding back on that. It's not even in office yet, as I said. So there's more. This is a bit from the same. The whole thing was an hour long, like I said. Just pulled a few parts out, not watched the full thing. So this is more on Panama and Greenland. He wants the Panama Canal and all of Greenland, who are telling him to go screw himself as well. No chance.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be with you. Many things are happening that are exciting.
Can you assure the world that as you try to get control of these areas, you are not going to use military or economic coercion?
No.
What is the strategy?
Yeah. I can't assure you, you're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those two.
Well, that's the difference. He was very quick to rule out any sort of military action against Canada, but in saying that he's not going to rule it out, we know what that hints at, we know what that insinuates, and you certainly wouldn't put it past this guy. You know, once again, this guy who's gotten even worse since he was last in office and is now a convicted criminal, and also returning to court on the 10th of this month in just 3 days' time on hush money charges, as well as previously being convicted of sexual assault and other horrendous crimes. So yeah, he's gotten even worse. We wouldn't put it past him. And I think that in saying that he won't rule out military action against Panama and Greenland, that should be of particular concern to everybody, well, around the world.
But I can say this, we need them for economic security. It might be that you'll have to do something. Look, the Panama Canal is vital to our country. It's being operated by China. China. And we gave the...
Oh, here we go again.
Do something. Look, the Panama Canal is vital to our country. It's being operated by China.
Who?
China.
Who? So? And you don't operate anything abroad? The United States of America don't operate anything abroad? How many countries has China tried to invade in the last 70 years compared to the United States of America, Donald? Oh no, China. This xenophobia is going to be relentless as ever.
And we gave the Panama Canal to
China.
Panama. We didn't give it to China.
China.
And they've abused it. They've abused that gift. It should have never been made, by the way. It was, giving the Panama Canal is why Jimmy Carter lost the election, in my opinion.
Your position is clear.
He's dead name. He's slugging Jimmy Carter off just days after he died. Really? I think that's in pretty poor taste. What was it again exactly? Unbelievable.
To China. And they've abused it. They've abused that gift. It should have never been made, by the way. It was giving the Panama...
Okay. Right. Okay, now. He says it's a great thing. It's a wonderful thing. Obviously, I hope you're more than familiar with the Panama Canal, how important it is logistically. I think, you know, a lot of the world's trade goes through the Panama Canal. It essentially means that European countries and the United States can circumnavigate southern Africa to be able to get goods through. They can circumnavigate South America to be able to get goods through. And he says it's a brilliant thing, and then he turns around and says they should have never built it in the first place. He wants it. He wants the Panama Canal. He wants to operate it. He doesn't want China to operate it. He wants it to be under the control of the United States of America, but they should have never built it in the first place. Give me that thing that should have never been built. I want it. I want to run it. It's great. What is he on?
being operated by China. China. And we gave the Panama Canal to Panama. We didn't give it to China. And they've abused it. They've abused that gift. It should have never been made, by the way. It was, giving the Panama Canal is why Jimmy Carter lost the election, in my opinion.
Your position is clear, but have you directed your staff to take specific actions to draw up plans? And can you elaborate again? You didn't rule out military coercion.
Well, we need Greenland for national security purposes. I've been.
You don't just point at a map and go, we'd like, well, they do. They actually do, but they shouldn't point at a map and just go, we'd need that bit, wouldn't we? We'd need that bit. And the, you know, ridiculous connotations about why they might need it because, of course, any minute now, China might want to take over the entire surface of planet Earth like they were last time around. And you can't expect people to just accept that as an excuse for potential military intervention. And this is American exceptionalism right here. Case in point.
All that for a long time, long before I even ran. I mean, people have been talking about it for a long time.
Are you also considering military force to annex and acquire Canada?
No, economic force. Because Canada and the United States, that would really be something. You get rid of that artificially drawn line, and you take a look at what that looks like, and it would also be much better for national security. Don't forget, we basically protect Canada. We're going to be changing, sort of the opposite of Biden, where he's closing everything up, essentially getting rid of $50 to $60 trillion worth of assets. We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
Right, yeah. And that's gonna, what's that gonna achieve? What's that gonna change? They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
Which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name. Before it started, I can tell you that. The deal could have been made just by an average...
I'll just change, you know, global geographics at the stroke of a pen. For I've, you know, for I've said it is so.
Average deal maker. Deal could have been made on that. And Mexico has to stop allowing millions of people to pour into our country. They can stop them. And we're put very serious tariffs on Mexico and Canada, because Canada, they come through Canada too, and the drugs that are coming through are at record numbers.
How did the wall go, Donald? How did things go there? No? Any news on that? This massive... And then Mexico were going to pay for it, weren't they, Donald? Donald? No? No wall? No? Couldn't get Mexico to pay for the wall? The Great Wall of Mexico. No? Oh. Oh dear.
Record numbers.
You're right. You're right, Octo. People do believe him, and I've no idea why either. You know, they drank the Kool-Aid. However you want to put it. It's not good. I think that's the worst thing, you know. Anyone can go on social media or stand in front of a camera, go on a stage and say something stupid. Fair enough. Collectively, people should just say, you know, sit down, you don't know what you're talking about. But when you see people going along with it, and you see how gullible large swathes of certain populations are, that's the worrying part. I think Donald's favourite film is China O'Brien. iPads and Teslas are made in China, yeah. Tell that to Elon. So that was the first Trump and Musk's batshit crazy corner. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll have the let's have the title sequence again just as we go out. We'll catch up with them next time.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
Try that one, really? Okay. Sure. Oh, man, it didn't go through.
We will build a great wall along the southern border.
You don't want them to advertise? No. What do you mean? If somebody can blackmail me with advertising? Blackmail me with money? Go f*** yourself.
That is one big pile of shit.
Batshit... Trump and Musk's batshit crazy corner will be returning very soon here on My Left Eye. Right, what have we got next? Yeah, we've got this story that came out today. Facebook are going to be getting rid of fact checkers. Apparently it wants to go the same way as Twitter. Quite interesting timing as well. It sort of blends in a little bit with Trump. So just before he gets elected, just before, when someone who's very notorious for spreading lies, disinformation and misinformation on social media, very conveniently, Facebook, that is Meta, decide that they're abandoning the use of independent fact checkers on Facebook and Instagram, replacing them with a Twitter-style community notes feature where commenting on the accuracy of posts is left to users. Now that's been trialled by Twitter, of course, and it's not turned out very well. The move comes as Zuckerberg and other tech executives seek to improve relations with US President Donald Trump before he takes office later this month. They've criticised Meta for its fact-checking policy, calling it censorship of right-wing voices. Well, here we are. The advocates for free speech, as long as that free speech is spreading lies and misinformation. Asked whether Zuckerberg was directly responding to threats Trump had made to him in the past, the incoming US president responded probably. Campaigners against hate speech online reacted with dismay to the change and suggested it was really motivated by getting on the right side of Trump. Zuckerberg's announcement is a blatant attempt to cozy up to the incoming Trump administration, with harmful implications, said Ava Lee from Global Witness, a campaign group which describes itself as seeking to hold big tech companies to account. Claiming to avoid censorship, quotes, is a political move to avoid taking responsibility for hate and disinformation that platforms encourage and facilitate, she added. I do have to agree. So the community notes were recently introduced by Twitter. It's going to be pretty much a copy of that, like I said. After concerns were raised around self-harm and depressive content, Meta clarified there would be no such change to how we treat content that encourages self-injury. But I do have to agree, this is a step backwards. People are advocating the move, though, whining that they spent too much time in Facebook jail. While it's 100% not accurate, it's better that to stop lies and misinformation spreading around social media than to try and police it after the fact, as far as I'm concerned. Look at what happened over here last year with the Southport riots. Spoke a little bit about that on yesterday's live stream, with one of the instigators being imprisoned for 7.5 years. Well, that's what it leads to. So unfortunately, more disinformation like that, more lies, is going to be able to spread like wildfire. As I've quoted before, the old quote about the truth getting, a lie getting halfway around the world before the truth can put its shoes on. Mark Twain was, aka Samuel Clements. But here's where are we? Yeah, that was the other bit I wanted to bring up. So Meta's global affairs chief is about to be replaced, and it is, of course, former leader of the Liberal Democrat Party in the UK, who's now been knighted, Sir Nick Clegg, who in 2010, in the run-up to the election, promised, offered a more socialist manifesto than even the Labour Party under Ed Miliband. And when it came to a hung parliament, unfortunately, they sided with the Tories to make the coalition government, of course. It's going to be replaced by Joel Kaplan. So that's how Nick Clegg was rewarded, for entirely selling the country out. And the manifesto at the time, in 2010, of course, 5 years before Corbyn even became leader of the Labour Party, if you put out a manifesto like that these days, they would probably describe it, that is, the mainstream media, as very Corbyn-esque, i.e. socialist. They don't say socialist or socialism on TV, it's always Corbynist and all this sort of thing. They've tried to embody the entire concept of socialism within one person, i.e. Jeremy Corbyn. So anytime you might have a panel show or whatever, anyone's on the news, and you might want to talk about a new socialist idea, a new socialist policy, like Carla Denny might do, for example, then the interviewer will immediately, or reporter will come back and say, oh, that's a very Corbynista approach, isn't it? So that's the difference. Sir Nick Clegg was given a pat on the back and obviously got this prominent business position, whereas Corbyn was completely and disgustingly set upon by the media and from within and without of the Labour Party itself, as we all know. There might be more from JC later in the stream. Wonder how much he's getting for that, actually. What the salary for the global affairs chief from Meta might be. You'd have to say it's probably a pretty princely sum. How's the chat doing? Just something might have frozen. Should be running smooth now. Just have to refresh it now and then. Also, please make sure... Actually, I've not even done it. Please make sure you've set the chat to live chat instead of top chat. That way you get to see everybody's messages as they come through. There we go. So what do you make of this, people? No, I'm not impressed. I'm nonplussed. That's for sure. And the thing is now, it's bad enough that so much of the print and TV media is held in the hands of a small amount of people, these mega corporations, the likes of Rupert Murdoch and so on and so forth. But online, to have what are the main platforms for public information, idea sharing, content sharing, this sort of thing, to be in the hands of just two people, mostly Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg respectively, is another scary prospect. And we know what Musk's ideas are for UK politics as well, but he can do one. As far as I'm concerned, he can shove that. Okay, let's move on. There was a session in the House of Commons today. We're going to go over to affairs in the Middle East. And yeah, questions were raised again about the UK's complicity in terms of arms sales to Israel. So we'll take a look at a few of those, including an interesting, very interesting proposition from John McDonnell as well. Right, so first of all, a question from Apsana Begum. This is about drones, about whether the UK is supplying any drones or drone parts to Israel.
Recently, a surgeon broke down as he told the International Development Select Committee of drones descending after a bomb strike to shoot children with wounds he believed and felt reflected some form of artificial intelligence. I understand that the government are currently saying that since September 2024, that UK-made arms are currently suspended where they may be being used against civilians, notwithstanding what this exactly entails, the various details, caveats and definitions. Can the Minister confirm and clarify today whether UK-made drones are being exported to Israel, or were being exported before September 2024, are being used to shoot civilians, including children, in the manner that was described by the surgeon?
Minister.
Madam Deputy Speaker, I'm familiar with the testimony of Professor Nizam Mahmood. I saw his videos from while he was in Gaza. He's an impressive surgeon and a friend to many in this chamber, and his testimony is harrowing. In relation to the drones, I want to be clear, the suspension of arms licences would cover exactly that such activity.
Well, yeah, that's just one way that they can try to get around things legally. If they, for example, put in an embargo or a ban on a particular date, there still could be things that were produced before that date in use. It's important, and that was an important question to raise. And as Hamish, what's his face, replied there, fortunately, that's now been ruled out. But there are other cases where there are loopholes and so on and so forth, where we can actually be supplying Israel with weapons parts that are being used. I'll come on to that in a moment. But first of all, this from John McDonnell, who has said has an interesting proposition.
Tom. I think the Minister has expressed his frustration and distress. I actually think the Minister shares the depth of anger that most of us have in this House. We've witnessed over the Christmas period, when we're celebrating with our families, the scenes of children starving and freezing to death as a result of Israeli actions. The only solution, up until now, the actions that have been taken clearly haven't had the effect we wanted. The only solution that we've had in the past is a total isolation of a country, economically and militarily, to prevent them performing war crimes in the way that Israel has. I think this government could take a leading role in that isolation of Israel to bring it to some form of negotiated settlement. But can I just say one thing that grates with me in particular, is that we have an Israeli ambassador who's an advocate of a greater Israel, refuses to recognise the Palestinian state, defies all the UN resolutions that have been passed about how we can secure that peace, and she still remains in this country. Why aren't we expelling the Israeli ambassador?
Yeah, very good point. And that's Zippy Hotovelli that he's referring to there. I've done content about it previously on the channel. And she's openly called for things that are against international law, as John McDonnell said there, including the illegal annexation of neighbouring territories. Lebanon, for example. And we just can't stand for that. We just can't stand for that. She's got to be excluded as ambassador. So yeah, please do check out previous content if you want to know more about my 2 cents on that absolutely awful woman. Her and David Mensah alike are equally reprehensible. So let's see what the response to this has been. It's not particularly great. Hamish always has a demeanour about him that he's surprised by the question and he doesn't know how to answer, and he just sort of jumps around the topic, tries to dance around with words.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank my right honourable friend for his question, and I recognise the anguish in his voice about the scenes we have seen coming out of Gaza over the winter period, and he's right, I do feel that anguish as well. I think this whole House sees pictures of civilians in terrible distress and feels it too.
Yeah, we do. We all do. And I've seen indescribable things that will actually probably haunt me for the rest of my life, things that I can't show on the channel. And they're the very worst things that you could want to witness as a human being. And surely that enough can invoke the amount of empathy needed to see that people like Zippy Hotovelli shouldn't be allowed in this country if we are truly horrified by those things that we witness.
Would say to my right honourable friend that he asked me about the Israeli ambassador. It is tempting to think that if only we had representatives more to our taste politically, then things would be easier. There is a disagreement, clearly. There is a disagreement between the British and Israeli governments about the conduct of the war in Gaza and the humanitarian implications that flow from it. We will continue to make that disagreement clear through all channels, both through the Israeli ambassador, directly to the Israeli government through the foreign minister, the Minister for Strategic Affairs, and the Deputy Foreign Minister. And we will continue to talk to the Israeli government about these issues. Indeed, that is the only direct route to secure the changes in the situation that we want.
That's not enough. That's not enough. And it would be different if it was Russia, for example. And even, Starmer himself was very quick to jump on the bandwagon, calling for international condemnation when the Ukraine-Russia conflict started. Then obviously didn't condemn Israel when things escalated in 2023. So, no, just trying to kick the can down the road to commit, saying that you have ongoing dialogue and discussions with Israel. That's not enough. We're talking about an individual being held to account for their remarks that are inexcusable, indefensible. In Zippy Hotovelli's case. Quite a pathetic response. There were further questions, of course, from someone who needs no introduction here on my left eye, but in the interest of padding the stream out a bit, I will give him an introduction. The Right Honourable Member for Islington North, leader of the Peace and Justice Project, independent Member of Parliament, and former leader of the Labour Party, Jeremy Corbyn.
Israel's ability to destroy life in Gaza and kill 45,000 people and destroy medical facilities is only possible because of the supply of weapons, principally from the United States. Can he be very clear? Is Britain going to continue supplying weapons, including parts for jet planes and the use of RAF Akrotiri, as a route for weapons to go to Israel that are destroying life in Gaza?
Mr. Speaker, in relation to, I want to be clear about the honourable member's asking his question about.
He's going to be clear as mud, just so you know.
Fighter jets. In relation to the F-35 supply chain, where it is not possible to disentangle components which might eventually end up in Israel, there we have made a carve-out for the arms suspension.
That's a very important point. I will come back to that after we've heard the rest.
Where we are directly selling fighter jet parts, whether they are F-35 or other fighter jets, to Israel, those licenses have been suspended.
So he's created two scenarios there. One is where we just randomly sell stuff to Israel and say that we don't know whether it might end up being used in the military. Other stuff we do know that it will be used in the military, and that's been banned. But the point is, even if there's a chance that it can end up being used in an F-35 fighter jet, then surely we have to stop that, because we, even though it may be inadvertently, risk further complicity in Israel's illegal occupation of Palestine. So they're willing to take that risk, evidently. But I don't care whether it's plastic that might be used for a button on a plane, or the seat covering, or a screw, or a bolt, or a fuse, or anything whatsoever that could end up contributing to Israel's occupation. I don't want that risk at all. So it's got to be a full embargo, not just of stuff that could potentially be used, like wholesale trade embargo with Israel, full BDS.
We will continue to have the same position in relation to the F-35 supply chain that has been discussed at this House at some length since it was announced in September, but we will, in relation to other fighter jets, take steps in accordance with the wider policy.
Double standards again. That emoji does remind me a bit of West Streeting. Yes, Andy. You know, I've said so many times how horrified I am. You know, historically this is happening in our name. How are people going to look back on this in 25, 50, 100 years? Will they forgive us? So that was obviously Jeremy Corbyn in Parliament. I'm going to take a look at something he said just outside Parliament recently. I think this was last weekend. He is, of course, always out there on demos and protests. Obviously, he can speak a bit more loudly and openly as well, so this is his latest appearance in London.
That's why our campaign has to be for the end of arms supplies to Israel, a demand to evacuate all Israeli forces from Gaza and the complete evacuation of Israeli forces from the West Bank, and recognise what Israel is doing at the moment by occupying southern parts of Lebanon and Syria.
Yes, just quickly, on that subject, there was an article out today concerning the West Bank that Jeremy Corbyn just mentioned there. And the way that the BBC tried to frame the article was, I believe their words were, territorial disputes. Territorial disputes, that's the way that they choose to describe an illegal occupation, essentially an annexation of land, which again contravenes international law, including the 4th Geneva Convention. They describe that as a dispute, as if you can be neutral on that. Oh, well, you know, it's hard to know which side to take here. When you see one country taking over parts of another country, it's called an invasion. I'll try telling that to the directors at the BBC.
We cannot have this. They've got to withdraw. There's got to be an end to the arms supplies. There's got to be support for the Palestinian people. They have been through hell and high water, not just over the past 18 months, but over decades and decades. And so we are here to say, we, people in this country, are with the people of Palestine, and we will stand forever with the people of Palestine until they have their peace and have their freedom. Thank you very much.
Great speech as always from Corbyn there, and thank you very much for throwing up the shows of solidarity there. Palestine flags, watermelons in the chat. Solidarity as always with Palestine, coming from my left eye, and indeed the Brew crew. Solidarity, Free Palestine and Lebanon. Great stuff. Got another clip here. This slightly more light-hearted, I guess, although it's a classic example of what douchebags Zionists are. You've heard of snakes on a plane. Well, now we've got Zionists on a plane. And this is one of two examples I've seen over the last couple of days. And in this case, the Zionists noticed a watermelon pin badge on a flight attendant's uniform, but they were on a flight, and then immediately and apparently in quite a offensive manner started giving out to the flight attendant. But they got the comeuppance. They were actually removed by the police. So let's take a look. Yeah, and welcome to the chat as well, Blinky. Thanks for throwing up the watermelons as well.
You're supporting terrorism with your pin. You made us feel uncomfortable as being Jewish.
Yeah,
no,
you don't touch me. Don't touch me. You're the one who touched me.
You're supporting terrorism. What are you stopping me here? Because I'm Jewish? Because I'm Jewish?
No.
No, because I'm Jewish?
We don't know that you were Jewish.
Yeah, you are.
We don't know that you're Jewish.
Is that why you're stopping me?
No.
You're being...
It's classic rhetoric. Classic rhetoric. First of all, go for the anti-Semitism bullshit, and then, as they said, how do they know that he's Jewish?
You are harassing the crew.
Get off this
you
plane
are
right
harassing the crew.
Let me
We're
get
calling
off
the
this
police
plane.
right now.
You
You
go
are
wherever
harassing
you
the
want.
crew.
I'm harassing the
Yes,
crew?
you are.
You're not letting me off this
yes,
plane.
Yes, you are. You're harassing
What
the
am
crew
I
right
doing?
now.
Trying to get off this plane.
You touched me.
Who are you?
You don't touch
Get
me.
away
Who
from
are you to touch me?
Get away from
No,
me.
you are not getting off this plane.
Yeah, you don't mess with the flight crew, guy.
You are ridiculous.
Don't record her,
I'm
sir.
recording
Don't
whatever I
record
want.
You
her.
are not permitted
Get
to
away.
record.
You're
Get
not
up.
allowed to record.
You
You're
are
not
not
allowed to record.
She won't let me.
So yeah, well done to those flight attendants. They don't take any crap. Certainly not from that douchebag. Yeah, don't mess about. Because they don't mess around. Yeah, they don't know the difference between a country and a religion and a terrorist group and a resistance group either. We all know Israel are the real terrorists. That's right, Politics Clive. The first rule of Fight Club. Do not mess about with the flight attendants. Do not touch them. Yeah, Hedy, that's a good point about the Beeb as well. They're in the chat. They can't exactly claim to be moral pariahs when you see some of the people who work for them and some of the things that they've been convicted of. Even their own news broadcasters recently as well, of course. Okay, moving over to slightly different area now. We'll just quickly go over this. You might have seen this in your social media. Yeah, so a doctor who's one of my fellow supporters of Just Stop Oil, Patrick Hart, has unfortunately been in prison for a year for taking part in non-violent direct action to protect lives, as this tweet from the official JSO page shows. This was for disabling petrol pumps at Thurrock services on the M25 in August of 2022. So that's in Essex, and he joins 19 other Just Stop Oil political prisoners in the UK. There's a petition there. If you want to check out the tweet, please do go and sign the petition. And yeah, he's a GP. And I know that a lot of doctors and GPs who are supporters of Just Stop Oil are increasingly concerned about climate change, and they see the effects of it day in, day out where they work. And I've spoken to GPs in London who have treated children who die from respiratory diseases because of inner city pollution and this kind of thing. We're now seeing plastics in fetuses in the human body. This is the scale of what's happening. It's now obviously directly affecting the population. So please do either go to the JSO.org webpage and sign the petition, or you can follow them on Twitter, and there's a link for the petition there on this tweet. Just wanted to quickly fill you in on that. There's a case coming up later in the month that concerns all of the climate protesters who are currently in prison. There's an appeal for the sentences to either be thrown out or greatly reduced. It's quite a historic case, actually. It's the first time a collective amount of defenders, climate protesters, have been in court for something like this. So of course I'll keep you up to speed with that as developments happen. That's a good point as well, Morbius. Microplastics have been found in the human brain stem as well. Adrian Dittman, that's the name. Yeah, I couldn't remember the surname earlier. Thanks for that politics, Clive. That's the... So this is the guy who is actually Elon Musk and poses as someone called Adrian Dittman on Fortnite when he's playing people. We redirected, raided into Kevin Logan's channel yesterday, where we saw a bit of that, and it was actually, you know, quite something. He does, of course, deny that he's Musk when it's put to him, but it's clearly his voice, it's his laugh, the way he talks, everything about him. So when he's not tweeting 20 times a day, that's what he's doing, that's what he gets up to. He's clearly not poring over circuit boards or developing technology hands-on. This is how he chooses to spend his time. Yeah, slight digression there, but please do go and show your support for Dr. Patrick Hart. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I will be bringing the stream to a close very shortly. But please do stick around. I'm going to see if anyone is available for a raid. While I do that, of course, I'll give another shout out to the members on the channel. So forgive me, I'll just have to take the chat out. I'll give a special thank you to all the supporters on the channel the old Brew crew. Thanks for your support. Please do consider joining if you're not already a member. Just 99 pence. Way cheaper than the price of a tasty hot beverage. And you can show solidarity with My Left Eye, as well as get some perks. And thanks as always to everybody who's gifted memberships to other viewers recently. And of course, please make sure you've hit thumbs up on the stream as well. Just gives us an old boost on that. The old algorithm. Bowing to the algorithm gods. Okay, who's about? Who's around? It's been a bit slow loading up again. Well, we had a choice yesterday. It looked as though Helen had raided into Kev just before we got in to witness Elon Musk getting his arse handed to him on Fortnite and not being able to answer or respond to basic challenges such as name 3 females' names and instead pretended to be distracted with the features of the game. The guy who was playing was like, and he just easily reeled off 3 females' names, and they said, "Can you name 3 females?" And Musk's like, "What's this? What's this thing over here? What's this MacGuffin in the game?" So let's see who's on tonight. There we go, that's open now. Whether they are live or not, please do go to Kevin Logan, that's at Kevin Logan, or Helena at No Justice MTG. Right, who we got? Who we got? Well, speak of the devil. Okay, yeah, perfect. We've got Helena, No Justice, MTG, live right now. Great content. I'm sure a lot of you are already familiar with the channel, but if not, please do subscribe once we redirect over there. That's going to be all from me. Where's the chat gone? There we are. Bye-bye, everyone, including Divinia's dog, it seems, indeed. Thanks a lot for all of your comments in the chat and everything. It's been great to see you once more. Please do join me over at No Justice MTG. And until we see each other, take care, everyone. My Left Eye, be seeing you soon. Good night.